Mountaineer fans, this is West Virginia Live, brought to you by FanDuel. Yes, I said it, FanDuel. FanDuel is now a sponsor of the West Virginia Live and the voice of college football here. We're very excited to have them. So, Eric, talk about gambling. If you're a gambling man, what's the over and under on West Virginia's Scotty Fox situation? I'm just gonna get right to it. We'll talk, no pillow talk, just getting right to it. What Scotty Fox, is he staying? Is he going? I mean, I've heard both things. I mean, I'm not going to tickle everybody. I'm just bringing it to you. Scotty Fox, there's a rumor. I can't verify this, but folks are reaching out to this kid, and I'm going to use an example, but it's not the school, but like a Middle Tennessee, an Akron, a Temple. Those are the schools that are just clamoring for Scotty Fox. They come here, play now. And that's usually the draw for the Mountaineers. The draw for the Mountaineers is, listen, go to Auburn, wait 2 years. Go to LSU, wait behind somebody, see what happens. West Virginia's like, hey, you got a couple years, you have a chance to play for 3 years. What are your thoughts, Eric? Sorry.
No.
Don't even introduce you. Just hit you with that shit. Boom.
It's a pretty tasty subject. You skip the salad and the appetizer. No, you go right into the main course. But I hate taking an opposing view from you, because when you ask these questions, you always seem to know something. Your crystal ball is better than mine. There's a lot in this conversation, so I'm gonna go into it. It's gonna take a little while. We're gonna let it marinate.
Yes, let's do that.
So coming in, Scotty was a highly regarded recruit, coming out of Ohio. Depending on who you look at, he was, a highly regarded. How should I say that? He was in the top. He would have been in the top third of the class coming out of Ohio, regardless of who you believe. I'm not going to get into the numbers because, all these recruiting sites have their own number sets. But they all seem to agree he was one of the top, as far as overall talent, top 30%. So to get somebody with that kind of talent level, that's a good catch for WVU. So I can see why people would be interested in him. I don't think we have seen Scotty's ceiling yet by a long shot. For a school like Akron or someone else like, on those levels, man, that would be a game changer for them, no doubt.
It would, and that's why they're like rolling out the red carpet. I hate to use that Mountaineer term for basketball, but they're literally trying to, just imagine if you're a mid-major, you're a small school, and you're just trying to make a name. You're like, listen, because with tape nowadays, these kids can build a great resume and make some money, some good money, by playing at a Boise State, by playing at a, Southwest Missouri State's kind of small, but it's out there, and, maybe a Tulsa or, but I just think, you have to be guarded. West Virginia has done a great job of keeping some talented guys. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But with the Mountaineers, I have to be honest. This is really like every year seems to be like the first iteration of how this is all evolving. It seems to be different from last year because we have, Rich Rod was hired a lot sooner. Yeah, Leo, Locked On says Hawkins is Pat White 2.0, but there's a but, and we're going to get to that but later. Don't let me forget about that but. Not Hawkins' but the but about the 2.0. Okay. Back to talking about the landscape of recruiting. Shane, his little pea brain, thought, hey, January 6th is going to be like Christmas 2.0. old Santa Rich Rod's going to drop some presents on us, just like 30 days ago. When he blew everything up by having a top 25 recruiting class. I thought it would be a little bit of the same. Now, I almost went hot with that on our show, saying, have things went ice cold, this, that, and the other. But Leo, you took the surprise. A little surprise happened. The brothers, two brothers, were recruited. Hey, why get one when you can get another? It's like always be a lookout. The guys, like where I live, there's a family. There's three brothers. They all have kids. They all play football. So half the football team has the same last name. That's what you're looking for when you're recruiting. Like, that kid's big. His brother's big. That one's fast. That's what you got to do. And I think Rich Rod, it's not hard when you have tape from Oklahoma watching this guy basically run all over Auburn. You mentioned it, Eric, the video, Auburn. I don't know. The brothers' names, I'll get them mixed up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Michael Hawkins and Malik Hawkins. Michael is the quarterback. And
100%.
Okay. Eric, what are your thoughts on these two? Are they Pat White? Is he Pat White 2.0? Michael.
Well, we'll jump back to Scotty because we got a lot more to discuss there. But Michael is legit. He is an excellent talent. First of all, anybody who had anything to say about the Hawkins brothers had nothing but good things to say about their character. I love that. I want to see more of that. I'm a big believer that if you have young athletes with good character, they will always pan out better than the kid who comes or the athlete who comes in with the wow factor, but maybe has problems staying issues staying out of trouble off the field. I don't think that's going to be the case with the Hawkins brothers. Michael has shown that his feet are a bigger threat than his arm, but his arm is not to be taken lightly. He's got a powerful arm, just like Pat did. I think he's going to have to work on the throwing portion of as most quarterbacks who are more of a run threat, going to have to work on the arm a little bit more, and that's fine. I don't think it's as bad as what people are saying, because I've seen the numbers and they're not so bad that people should be instantly jumping to, oh, he's unreliable, he throws interceptions. They're not that bad. Malik, people need to understand something about Malik. If we would have just gotten Malik, I'd have been stoked. Getting Malik alone is going to be a great grab. So first of all, both brothers have size. Michael's 6'1", Malik's about 6 foot. So Malik's going to be a big corner. He's already shown that he's got shutdown qualities to him. He already did a lot for Oklahoma in the little bit of time he got to play there. So getting both of these guys, and I think that's a sign of high caliber character. They wanted to keep the family together, kind of thing. This is a very good get for WVU, quite honestly. Out of everybody we've gotten so far, getting these two, top marks.
Yeah, up there with Brown and Matt Sig. So I'm gonna ask Kenny Evans in the chat. He's a member. Kenny, yeah, he's the brother. Just the cornerback, the 6-footer, is from was playing at Wisconsin. I don't know how much he played. I couldn't find any information or tape. I only looked for, I worked till 5 and then, family and stuff. So I had spent about a half an hour kind of looking around, trying to find. Chat, do you know if he, if there's any tape on him, just let me know. And I'll for Thursday's show, we'll talk about it. But the fact.
Are we jumping to the Latimer brothers?
No. I'm talking about the two brothers from Oklahoma and Wisconsin.
Okay, I thought they were both from Oklahoma, but
no.
Sorry.
No, the the one here, the Michael Hawkins is from Oklahoma. And I think his brother Malik is from Wisconsin.
Okay.
I might be wrong. Kenny.
Well, I thought they were both from Oklahoma. We got the Latimer brothers
Oh,
from
no, you're right.
Wisconsin.
You're right. Malik was a signee for the Sooners class of 2025. So he was there last year. And the other guy from Wisconsin is Latimer. I don't know what I'm thinking. I had one of those days where just like I have a water conditioning system, and the one thing, the valve broke, and I had a little bit of flooding. So my
Ooh.
mind like in the gutter. So apologize, guys. So with that, good time, take a break, reset. Once again, West Virginia Live is brought to you by FanDuel. So, FanDuel, guys, always play with the odds, but FanDuel, I have another show I do called Steelers Dynasty Podcast, and Bubba uses FanDuel every week to try to, put a $5 bet down, and if he gets his 10 picks, he could win, tens of thousands of dollars. Lots of fun. It's a lot better than going down to the corner store and getting a scratch off. FanDuel, guys, it's the new sponsor of the Voice of College Football. There's a number of shows here at the Voice of College Football. You might not even be a West Virginia fan. You'll find your team on the Voice of College Football, but this is the West Virginia Live channel. Once in a while, we'll talk about some pepperoni rolls, maybe some natty lights, talk about, now we don't talk about girls. We do talk about Christmas, Santa, New Year's, and a little bit of basketball. Now, back to what we were talking about, recruiting. It is so confusing, guys. I'm going to go to the chat right before we get back into it. We got Kenny Evans. We got Oklahoma fans are sad, Leo. Yeah. I saw some messages. Locked On Big 12 was talking about this kid is legitimately a baller. Jerry Justice 8026. Yeah, there's two brothers from the Michigan State. This seems to be like a buy one get one, and there's also 3 sets of brothers on the team. Wow, East Lansing must have like a brother hookup. I don't know. West Virginia's a raised level play in the Big 12. Maybe not next year, but the program improves each year. The league will have to improve to keep up. Grumpy man, I pray that's the case, because that was exactly what happened in the Big East after there was a vacuum when Miami and company and VTech left.
Hey, Shane, we don't have time. Sorry to interrupt you, but we don't have time to get into this tonight. But that's a great idea for a future episode, because I agree with Grumpy here. That's a great name. I think next year actually could surprise some people, ourselves included, because there's been a coaching carousel and the Big 12 has been greatly affected.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah. So yeah, it's like the ripple effect. It's like that stone is thrown, the lake is a mile long, and the waves still reach the shore. And it might take a little bit, but we're still feeling the waves and the ripples from Penn State, LSU, or Arkansas. All these teams that have basically gave their college coaches the boot. Okay. So
there's even a nasty school up north that affected things, but we will get into that another time.
Now, we can go back and talk about Scotty Fox here.
Perfect.
Now, this is a different topic, but let's just say Scotty stays, which I'm hoping and I'm pretty sure he will. So Scotty stays. You have, a couple new bodies in there. Where is Scotty Fox's role? Is he still the starter? Or is it true to what Rich Rod says? You got to work for that position. So just based off of film of what you saw last year with Scotty Fox and what we saw with, I'm trying to think a couple other guys maybe.
Khalil?
Khalil or Michael Hawkins, or even that Marcus Stokes, man. I haven't heard much about him. The kid who got into trouble, was recruited by Florida, went down to Louisiana, played a little bit, really has a lot of nice film, threw for lots of yardage, ran for lots of yards. If he would happen to make it onto the team, I don't know. That's just one of those. I'm like Mountaineer Paul with Jalen Henderson last year. He's my like project. I would love to see him do well. But just say Michael Hawkins and Scotty Fox. Those two, where do you think they sit in the pecking order, Eric?
So to me, you're going to have, a quarterback controversy as soon as this portal's over, probably sooner, already. I don't think by any means should we assume Scotty Fox is not going to be the front runner coming into next season. Scotty knows the offense specifically. That is huge. Scotty proved he could win last year and win with an offensive line that quite simply was, in some of the positions, one of the worst in college football at the power level. I hate saying that because I don't like calling people out like that, but if you can win when you have trouble with your offensive line, you're doing extra. So by no means should we assume Scotty's out of the running and that, Michael, which no disrespect to Michael, I think it's going to be a case of they're going to compete. And Rich, from what I'm hearing, even with Kevin Brown wasn't promised anything except for an opportunity to compete and win a job. And nobody, especially in this day and age, nobody wants to be the coach and poison the well by showing favoritism that, hey, this kid, you might as well just stop trying. This kid here, we're going to give him the job. Yep. No, everybody's going to compete. Everybody's going to earn their way. And that's always been Rich's mode, and that's what it's going to be. And the other thing, too, is that this is me just throwing some observations around because Shane, we were on the same level. Or wavelength. I was thinking this today. What does this mean for Scotty Fox?
Right.
I don't know if I'm so worried. If I'm Scotty Fox, which, man, I love that kid, I hope we keep him. He showed great character. Khalil did the same. I hope we keep him. But if I'm those two, do you know which one I think I'm more concerned about keeping? Khalil. Why is that? Yeah. What did Khalil bring to the table more than his arm?
Oh, he had some legs and he had a little bit of ass to him too. Like
he's got some wheels.
Yeah, he could run and had a little bit of girth. He's not a tiny guy, a dainty guy. He's not petite. He's a solid runner. You don't have to worry about him getting. I mean, he did get dinged up though, but anyway,
he did. Which I'll get to that in a second. But what is Michael known for? What is his? What did we talk about before the show? Did we talk about? Did you see this throw? Did you see that throw? How many yards? How many touchdowns? We talked about his run at Auburn.
Right. Yeah, that's
so.
Right.
If I'm anybody and I'm feeling a little more threatened, I'm probably Khalil. This being said, how many quarterbacks did we legitimately need to go through this season? We went through 5, but let's take out 2 of them. And again, I'm not criticizing anybody, but Nico quit playing after the 4th game, and then Jalen Henderson did too. But both of those guys, I'm going to combine them into one and say, look, you would have lost 1 for sure from an injury. We probably would have gone through 4 quarterbacks this year. We were talking about playing Max Anderson.
Right. Yeah, we were.
So the idea that you got Michael coming in, look, we're going to need 3 quarterbacks. Sorry, buddy. That's all the more I got on that.
No, you're spot on. I'm just making sure I cover everything on my list. That's a great viewpoint to take the fact that we have a cat that was behind him, Malik, that has a similar skill set. I don't know if he's quite as fast, but that's the guy that should be worried about his job because
Khalil.
Khalil. So next thing I have on my list, my magic list here, is there's a beefy linebacker. Now, this cat is from UNLV, Isaiah Peterson. I am praying that these numbers are correct. Okay, you ready?
Hit me.
6'4", 235 pounds of twisted steel and mountaineer appeal, right? So last year for the Running Rebels, 46 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, half a sack, and he played in all 13 games for 215 snaps. He started at UCLA, was in one game, something happened, then he transferred to UNLV. This guy, what the hell? What is he eating? He's a big dude.
He got significantly bigger somewhere along the way, but you're right. That is enormous for one of our linebackers. That's an NFL linebacker right there.
He has 3 years left. Yeah, Leo, he does. Because he could take a red shirt for that 1 year. He only played one game. So 3 years. I am excited. Who does he slide right in and fill in for?
Carrico.
Yeah, Ohio State's transfer that we managed to snag last year. It seems to be a lot more Carrericos out there like this cat that aren't just one-offs. Like he seemed to be the one and only, like, just, oh my gosh, this guy's a stud. West Virginia's just stacking them like cordwood. Now, this is a kid, from what I've watched on tape, he can bring it. Good lateral speed, can close, but he doesn't cover. Tight ends come in the middle. My notes here say that he's not great at coverage. So middle of the field would be. So would he be a bandit? I don't know, but Zach Alley, we're in good hands. Now, last show I had like a mountaineer-gasm. You like that? Mountaineer-gasm? It's like you moonshine and pepperoni roll at the same time. You don't know what to do. Over the news that Rick Trickett was coming. People are like, it's not official yet. It happened. It happened, guys. It happened, and Rick Trickett is officially a Mountaineer. He's been a Mountaineer for years. He kind of just took a detour, went in other places. But he's back. 77 years young. I hope. And guys, I got some crap about it, but I said he's the type of guy, like, I know offensive line coaches that use wiffle ball bats, or like one of those those wands with a hand, and they slap you on the helmet. He's not beating people with bats. He uses it as a learning tool, like, hey, move your feet here. This guy is a teacher, and we are so blessed to have him. It's like, if they have a rating and they give these kids a number, just put a gold star on their helmet and just add 2 points to that score, because that's what Coach Trickett brings. He brings that magical offensive line dust to get their shit right. Guys, Brown is going to be a first day draft pick, top 15 guy, because of one Coach Trickett. Oh, I probably talked half an hour between last show and this show just on Trickett, but I can't be more excited about that.
You have every reason to be 100%. He's coached at LSU successfully. He's coached at Florida State successfully.
Yeah.
He's been a number of places, and he is a no-nonsense coach, but his players love him.
Right.
And the idea that he's kind of hard-nosed and old school, has that hard edge, he's still respectful to his players, and his players love him. When you can do that, and you're like, there's a lot of coaches who are what we just described, and their players hate them. And even players will even play for a guy like that if they feel as though they're learning. Rick Trickett is everything. His players love him, and they learn, and they become better, like you said, we'll get 1 or 2 wins next year just because of Rick Trickett.
I would say 1. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll pencil me down for 1 extra win because of Coach Trickett. Absolutely. Amen. A guy who used to wear, the number 35, played a little fullback, came from a Division II school in Wisconsin, runs like a beer truck. You know who I'm talking about, Mr. Owen Schmidt, posted on Twitter about Coach Trickett and glowing. Fullbacks are kind of special. They're like tight ends. They get to spend a little bit of time with the offensive line coach, a little bit of time with the running backs coach, and they kind of learn the magic from both coaches. And that's high accolade. Now it's Coach Schmidt. He coaches high school. So
yeah,
that's good to go. So let's go to
Absolutely.
chat real quick and say hi to a few people. See if I missed anybody. Now, I haven't heard anything about that. We talked about that kid from California. That kind of went cold. Haven't heard anything else. We'll see. Thursday, we're going to touch on some of these other cats that were talked about. They're offered, but we haven't heard anything. And, Stokes is one of them, the one I like because, did something dumb. Florida wanted him and then said, nah, go play some Division II ball and tear it up. And he did. So we'll talk about Stokes on Thursday. Now, remember a guy, 6'5", played basketball, Jason Williams. Floss minus the F and the L, maybe. You spell that rascal's last name kind of like it grows on a rock. Played at Marshall.
Yeah.
First name Randy.
Yeah.
I see this kid, and he's lanky. And I think it's like Randy Moss light. But this kid's from the Bahamas or someplace down there. It was warm and beautiful. And you had told me he was supposed to come to the Morgantown next year and play some ball, but USC got a hold of him, and he's a wide receiver, Prince Strachan, and I screwed up his name. You can say it right for me, Eric.
I don't know that I'm right either. I've heard Strachan and I've heard Strawn. We'll find out.
He signed today. He signed today, and he's only been playing a ball a few years. And his first game, Eric, you tell the story. His first game, what happened last year with USC?
Terrible story. He only got 1 catch the entire year last year, and I suspect that's how we're getting him. Gets a catch early season. I'm pretty certain it was a lesser opponent. Makes the catch, runs after the catch, gets 20 yards, gets tackled in a bad way, gets injured, season's over. So that's it for him. And, that's a rough. That's just rough, both for him and quite honestly, the school too, because now you don't know how to evaluate them. And one of the ironies of the transfer portal is that effectively there are fewer positions and greater competition for positions every year. So I'm sure that they offered him something less than what he got last year. And you know what? WU needs receivers. And like you'd mentioned, he's got NFL size.
Yeah, you had mentioned it's a buyer's market. So, not to get like fancy, but it's like a house. There's so many houses on the market. Costs have to come down. There's lots of wide receivers out there. Lots of D-backs. That's why I was gonna, like I mentioned earlier in the show, I was gonna do a show about how like scared I am that the portal's been a little bit slower than what I thought, based off of, a month ago it was like boom, 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 boom. The fact that West Virginia is able to get this kid, I think they might have got him for a decent price because of the injury. Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate for him. But I would, that's a great lanky guy who has a huge catch radius, right? This is, just think about it. Like basketball, you talk about wingspan, right? Wingspan. You have a 6'5" receiver going against maybe a 5'9" or 5'11", maybe 6 foot, even if 6'1", That extra 4 inches, he probably has about 10 inches extra reach with those arms. You get 50-50 ball now becomes a 70-30 ball.
Funny you say that. One of his teammates said that about him. One of his teammates, you saw that too. Okay, yeah.
You said you said it better. It wasn't 80% of the time he gets 50-50 balls.
I like the way you said that.
Like Ron Burgundy. This cologne works 50% of the time, 100% of the time. So
something like that, yeah.
But no, that would be fantastic. Especially, let's just think of this. Riddle me this, Eric. You have a quarterback who's young, doesn't have that laser accuracy that maybe an older, more mature quarterback would have.
Mm-hmm.
You're Michael Hawkins, you're Scotty Fox, whoever you sprinkle in there. That guy gives you that forgiving receiver where a 50-50 ball now becomes a completion. If there's a Hail Mary or maybe 2 guys covering them, that height just really helps you out. It's amazing. It's like a middle linebacker being 245 pounds. It just helps. Or a nose tackle being 300 pounds and 5'11".
Can we talk a little geometry for a second?
Yeah,
I promise there won't be a quiz.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to say that, maybe you're a cornerback and this is your reach. You're let's say you're even a big quarterback or cornerback and you're 6 foot.
Right.
That's your reach.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, that's it right there. Okay.
Yeah.
If you are the receiver currently known as Prince,
okay,
hope you appreciate that.
I love that. The symbol.
Your reach is now more like this.
Right.
And so, okay, well, that's not a football. Yeah, but if you rotate that over 180 degrees,
that's a huge.
That area, that's huge. That's a huge difference. And that's why in the NFL, most of your more prolific receivers, one of the things that made Randy Moss so dangerous is that he was 6'5" and he had, long arms. So, you combine that with ridiculous speed. And of course, he's a Hall of Fame player.
Right.
But, that's what you're looking at in somebody like Prince. And quite honestly, we probably did get a bargain for him because and I'm not knocking him and I'm not knocking anybody else, but he's somewhat new to the game. He's still learning the game.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, we're trying to stretch the field out. What was one of the things we couldn't do last year with Cam Vaughn?
Go deep.
You couldn't get enough passes deep.
No. Couldn't get him.
We're making improvements in the offensive line, obviously. We're getting some excellent talent to help us with the run game. And in losing Cam Vaughn, you've just plugged in Prince. And I don't think we're done, but I need to stop there. Where were you going to take us next?
Well, I'm going to take you to. Well, we're going to talk about basketball at the end of the show. We always finish up with a little bit of basketball. But who's next on my magic list? We talked about that monster middle linebacker already. Did we?
Mm-hmm. We did. Can I mention one last thing about the Hawkins brothers?
Do it. Let's do it.
Just real quickly, I don't know if we mentioned that their father played cornerback in the NFL. Had a good reputation. Right. Yeah.
That's big. That's big. I mean, that shows that, that's elite level athleticism that, it's usually a genetic trait, but it's, the
genetics are there, but even more than the genetics, we mentioned everything I had seen from Oklahoma fans. They had nothing but good things to say about the Hawkins brothers. They were disappointed they were losing them.
Yeah, because if you're a coach's kid or an NFL player's kid, think about the Stills brothers. Gary, I know Gary. Gary Stills scared the shit out of me at a gas station. He's a big man. It's circa like 1998. I had a Saab. I had a Iridium blue Saab, beautiful car, navy blue leather interior, just nice car. he came up and he had just bought a Saab off a guy, and he was just interested in about what year the car was and that. So met him a couple times out, just doing car stuff. Good guy, really just a wholesome, good dude. Those kids are good kids. Never met the kids though, but I've seen them grow up on Facebook. You can see where these kids come from. Yeah, and I just forgot to mention that their dad was a cornerback. Just the language of football, being able to speak that language at home, coming home, the dad being able to watch tape, say, hey, when this happens, you need to do X, Y, and Z. That is an invaluable resource to have a parental figure that is like an extra coach and also just a good dude. But sorry, I went down a rabbit hole there.
No, that was perfect. You did it for me. But just to kind of put a bow on that, it is outstanding when you get somebody from the genetic lineage of the NFL combined with what appears to be good personal character, because you hear glowing things about the Hawkins brothers. I was hearing the same about the father, that there's good professionalism there, and so you have that role model, and so that is a win on top of a win. So that's all I was going to comment about the Hawkins brothers. Jersey Ear did a real nice piece on on a lot of these things. I'm sorry, go ahead. You had already spoken about Isaiah Peterson, and Prince. I have two other guys left that I think that I know we signed.
You hit them up. Let's hear it.
Gamir Latimer.
Oh yeah, Latimer. Yeah.
So he's another corner, and he is a Wisconsin transfer. So that's good. Got a Big Ten transfer. He is another highly touted recruit. Came out of high school, well regarded. Others were seeking him, but another brother package, presumably, because the older brother has not signed yet officially, from what I'm hearing. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. But he just went into the transfer portal like last week late, or literally.
Yeah.
Boom. So give it some time. Guys, what happens here is the handshakes, the calls, all that's done. It's not like it just happens that day. It happens a couple days before the announcement, right? It's like getting married. It's like you just don't show up and say, hey, I went to go take a crap, and on the way back, my soon-to-be fiance, we decided to get married. No, that doesn't happen. It's usually it's a longer process. There's some courting involved, right, Eric?
Is this a good time to talk about supply and demand and how professional, talent recruitment is different from the collegiate level?
Right.
So man, today has been about culinary delights, and now we're going to break into economics, supply and demand.
Right.
So at the professional level, you kind of have an artificially, how should I say this, suppressed demand, in that you have picks. And so whoever has top pick, they don't have to compete with someone else directly, although there's all those conversations that are held, like you're saying, which is always part of the game. It's the game behind the game, where there are conversations held and they have interviews, and they do all that stuff long before draft day comes around. Now, that being said, what that means is the top level talent, that's who they're going to go with. They're going to go with their top level talent to fit their system. It then works its way on down, such that when you hear about somebody like, I don't know, Tom Brady getting picked in the 6th round, and then he turns out to have the career he does, everybody's like, well, who would have seen that coming? And that's because supply and demand, when you have your pick of the litter, you're going to pick the top of the litter. This is kind of the opposite.
Right.
There is no pick order. Everybody right now, every university has the ability to go and grab players. So it is in the player's best interest, even if they've had those phone calls, those interviews behind the scenes, and even if they've decided, school A, I really like you. I think we're going to do good things. It's still in that player's best interest to hold out
Yep.
because until the later ends, you never know who's going to show up, and they may come in and say, "Look, something crazy happened in our university. We really need you. We are going to offer you the moon, the stars, and everything else." And if nothing else, they can use that as a negotiation tool, even if they don't want to leave the institution that they've already spoken with. Or maybe they have to go back to that institution and say, look, I know we really hit it off, but I'm going to go a different direction. And that's the difference here. So we have 10 days left, and there's going to be, I think that's why I'm looking for things to kind of become more and more interesting as this goes on.
Right, because when I was thinking about this, I'm like, if I'm a kid, I'm just going to sign because there's so many kids out there looking for spots. But you're right. These quality guys it's not musical chairs. They don't have to wait to be the last guy standing because there's always going to be someone that wants them. So we're not talking the last day, but like 48 hours, maybe 3 days before the last day, you're going to see things pick up. That's my observation. That's what I'm thinking, because a lot of the offers are going to be coming in. They're going to have their decision. It just doesn't happen immediately. It's not like, okay, I'll go here. No, there are some of these kids that are coming in like package deals that they've lined up a week ago, or like with Prince, the fact that he was injured, I don't think there's a huge market. He's like, yeah, West Virginia, because other schools might not be at the caliber of West Virginia they're offering. It's all relevant to who else is. It's like dating. If you're going out with 3 9s, unless a 10's looking at your door, those 7s have to just wait their turn, because guess what? There's only so much of this shade to go around. That's the true story. Not really. More like a 4 and a 5 equal 9 in my book, right? No.
Now, one thing real quickly we should mention, other than your dating prowess in your older days or your younger days, the notion that we've gotten some like the Hawkins brothers, there's the talent that we've already signed. A lot of times, it's a matter of if you're a player and you have a great fit, that you have a sufficiently good deal, and you feel that there's a program that has the coaching staff that you want. They run the offensive or defensive strategy that will feature your abilities. You're right. Now that program has a little bit more leverage in the negotiation, and you can just reach that deal and get started and just get moving. It doesn't 100%. It doesn't like the talent that we've already gotten. These are all great grabs. We haven't we haven't gotten anybody that, quite honestly, I'm looking at and thinking we could have done better than that. Mm-hmm. No, these are all great grabs. The talent acquisition thus far, excellent.
We got a troll. We got to talk to real quick. So listen, we know Gumir and Amari are brothers. They waited for the second brother, the cornerback, to sign. It was all lined up. He went into the portal recently. So I don't know where you're confused, but yes, he is. I was confused on the guy from Oklahoma, the brothers from Oklahoma. There's 2 sets of brothers coming to West Virginia. Okay. Eric was talking about one set. I was talking about another. But there's lots of West Virginia channels for you to watch, brother. So best wishes and pepperoni kisses. Okay. I do want to talk to Leo. Leo was talking about Wyatt Brown. They have him listed to 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", 210. He's this white kid with curly hair. Looks like a surfer. Signed with the Mountaineers. I forgot to mention where he's going to fit in the mix. I don't know. I don't know, because he's coming from high school, and you're talking about guys. It's apples and oranges. You're talking about guys a guy in Michael Hawkins, who played a couple games in the SEC, where, this kid from Santa Monica is playing high school ball in California. So, little bit of a learning curve. Hopefully comes in. I mean, we'll see what happens there. But I wanted to touch on that, okay? Now, Doyle, Tenney, Semper Fi. I think that's the Marine Corps, right? I'm just teasing. I know it's the Marine Corps. We need both quarterbacks. If one gets hurt, we got another one that's probably his equal. So, that's true. We learned our lesson last year when 5 is 1 and 1 is none, because they went through. Oh my gosh, I've never seen an injury report with 19 players, but that's what West Virginia had last year. Oh, man. Okay.
Can we talk about the quarterback room real quick?
Shoot, let's do it.
So the quarterback room, I don't think anybody in the quarterback room, whether they're a freshman, because that's what we saw previously, is those were freshmen, incoming freshmen. Those were high school players we had signed in the previous signing period. These are transfer portals. These are players that you're going to look to come in and make a more immediate impact. And a lot of the players I'm seeing that we signed, yeah, that's what they're going to do. Rich had even made that kind of joke. Rich is really good about dropping subtle hints. He talked about getting some grown-ass men.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. These are players who are going to come and have an immediate impact. Wyatt Brown, until you had really turned me on to him, I was like, okay, who's this kid? And then I went and watched the tape that you had recommended. He's legit. He's got a lot. Well, he's got a lot of potential. And I'll say the same thing about Prince. Prince is a low risk, in my opinion. He's got a high ceiling of potential. Hopefully things will work out for him next season. He's got the physical skills, the physical, talent, or how should I say, build. And he's definitely got the skills from his time at Boise. A lot of these players coming in, that's the difference. So getting back to the quarterback room, Khalil, Scotty, Michael, there's going to be healthy competition. And that level of competition is going to be more in line with Rich's system. And then you've got other quarterbacks who are going to be, how should I say, competing for future opportunities.
Yeah, that's just so true. And right now, you have guys that are sitting in the portal. And I'm going to ask you this, and chat, you can please let me know. What happens when they don't, when no one, picks up what they're putting down? I mean, do you go back with your tail between your legs, or do you just go to maybe a, Middle Tennessee State or an Akron, or, I mean,
Is this an opinion?
It's just like, what are your thoughts? If you were Wilkins, or you were just say Johnny Donuts, and you went in the portal thinking you're going to get a better offer, and the grass isn't greener, do you go back to Rich Rod and say, hey man, I want to play ball, I will be a backup? I mean, what are your thoughts? What would you do?
That, I actually looked that up today. And it's because we didn't talk about this before the show. We did talk how many players in the portal, because we're hearing all sorts of numbers.
I've heard, now chat, this is I've heard like 3 different numbers. Eric the day had different numbers. I was listening to who was it? It wasn't Mountaineer Paul. It was oh shoot. It was one of the I can't think of it, but the number came up was like 9,000. I heard that today.
Mm-hmm.
I watched like 4 podcasts today. I couldn't remember which one it was on. I don't want to like throw it, but it was definitely 9,000. Then I look on the internet. ChatGPT says there's around 3,800 to 4,200.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if their number's off, or if it's just constantly growing because more names go in every day. there can't be that many college football players in the portal. But even let's just say even at 3,500, we'll just be very conservative. 3,500, that's a shitload of ballers out there.
Exactly. Exactly. And so the idea that are all those players going to get picked up? The answer is no. And that's what we meant when we said your position is the number of positions available is actually shrinking, because whereas before you might have some room and expense to the program was much less to
Right.
keep a player on a team, and hopefully they would develop and produce in a year or two.
Right. Walk
That's
ons, high school kids, whatever. But now you got to pay everybody.
now it is a much more competitive to hold a position. So it's difficult to go into that portal, and if you don't have a home, something a lot of folks don't consider, you can always go back. Clay Ash actually made that comment when he entered the portal, and that he's not counting out WVU. And quite honestly, Khalil, in my opinion, I think I think Khalil could still have some things to offer WVU. Rich actually made very positive comments about him. Rich put him in as he started in a very competitive environment, very challenging environment as a redshirt freshman, and Khalil did pretty well. He really did. So the notion, I don't think it's a matter that Khalil can't play here, and I don't think it's a matter that we should count him out yet. But the idea that he's coming back for certain,
Yeah.
don't know. But honestly, I would take Khalil back. I don't think anybody would be upset if Khalil came back. And I shouldn't say came back, because when you enter the portal, it's not that you're no longer on that team. You're in the portal. You haven't left that program until you're gone.
Right. Right. You haven't know. It's just like putting your feelers out. I'm sure the agents are doing that a long time before. And certain agents have relationships with certain coaches. So it kind of, it is what it is. But before we move on to the last segment of the show, I want to let everyone know West Virginia Live is now sponsored by FanDuel. So the Voice of College Football is sponsored by FanDuel. So I have another show, Steelers Dynasty Podcast, and my co-host Bubba every week uses FanDuel, and I think I'm gonna have to log on and do a parlay because it sounds like a lot of fun. But guys, last part of the show, wrapping it up. West Virginia's basketball team played the a number 3 team. Big 12 play opened up. Iowa State. It looked competitive for about 14 minutes. And then the wheels fell off. And then it stayed around, 14, 15 points. And at the end, they lost by 20. What are your thoughts? Is it what you expected? Is it better or worse? It's about right where I expected it to be for playing the number 3 team.
We talked about this in previous shows, episodes. This is a good team. I still have a great deal of faith in Ross Hodge. I think he's a great coach. But my gosh, you talk about a murderous league to be playing in.
Right.
That this is it. I hate to say it, but kind of shot ourselves in the foot by not winning some non-conference bigger matchups. I think we're already in a must-win situation in our game tomorrow night against Cincy. I mean, are we a terrible team? Is it just a hope? No. This is a good team. Do I think we still have a little bit to learn? Do we have to kind of cross a threshold to learn how to win the close games against better opponents? That's where I think we are.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And time will tell. I mean, this team is starting to look better. I've seen improvement. Consistency still is not there. They're missing that. They're missing some. They're missing a couple guys, but I think Hodge is starting to get his guys the rotation he wants. It's just a tough team to start off with, so I don't really. It's not really a good metric to kind of test. I I'm on the fence to see if this is a tournament team. I mean, it might make the tournament. It might not. Year one, that's a big ask. But with that, I want to thank everybody. Eric, thank you. I actually got a new mic, Eric. Hopefully everybody.
It sounded excellent, buddy.
Yeah, no more coughing. I was doing shows with pneumonia and it was just lose my breath and wheeze, and it was terrible. But we had a lot of people here live in the chat. Thursday, kids, is the next show. We will be here at 8 p.m. on the Voice of College Football, brought to you by FanDuel. Well, that is our call-in show. So anybody who wants to come on, Jared, if you want to come on, please come on and make us smart on what we don't know. Make us smart, educate us, educate the chat. And we're here to learn. I'm not a journalist. You're not a journalist. But we do try to figure out what the hell's going on with recruiting, with the Mountaineers. We share our love and passion for just everything that's the Mountaineer sports. It could be, we might talk 30 seconds about the rifle team, soccer team. If they have a badminton team, I don't know. We might not talk about it, but we're definitely going to talk about pepperoni rolls, natty lights, and the Mountaineers. Eric, I hope you had a good holiday. It's great to see you on the new year. 2026 is going to be a fun one for the Mountaineers. I think it's on a trajectory up. And I'm interested to see what happens at the close. Let's just say like 4 or 5 days. Once this starts, percolating, this recruiting, and the portal kind of like finally starts to snap and bang, and we get a couple more just stellar players. Eric, do you have anything for posterity?
Great seeing you again, buddy. Hope the holiday season was good for you as well. You sound great tonight with that new microphone. Looking forward to what 2026 brings. I agree with you. Ren Baker has all the sports programs on the upswing. Everybody's looking good.
Well, as always, we brought you in with the state of West Virginia's state flag, and we're going to let you go. Hey, take care, Mountaineers, and we'll see you Thursday.